So let's talk about how to pay ourselves first and actually to grow our businesses. As female entrepreneurs, a lot of the time we struggle with that concept of paying ourselves, right? We don't pay ourselves first. If anything, on the list, we are way down here, right? We're not up here, we're all the way down here at the bottom. And I'm going to change that because we work way too hard in our business, on our business, to put ourselves at the bottom of the list. So we really need to start shifting that thinking. And a really great model for that is something called the profit first model. This is an amazing opportunity for you to not only be able to pay yourself first, but also start making more profit in your business. And isn't that why we're in business, right? We have to grow, we have to make more profit and do the things in order to get there. And so this is a really good model to shift how you manage your business finances so that you can actually start getting there faster, more efficiently. So let's talk about the model first. So the simple accounting model, so the model that we all are probably aware of from doing our books and QuickBooks, and we see our stuff from our accountant, is the typical model is we have revenue that comes in, we have our expenses, and then whatever's left is profit. So the profit first simply switches those last two. So here's our revenue, we take our profit first, and then whatever's left is for expenses. So it's a simple shift, and it's very impactful. Doesn't always mean it's easy to do. I will prepare you. It is not something easy to do. I help clients through this space all the time of implementing in this business because it's not something you can just go right into your business and switch up all your, finances and all your accounting and all these things. It's not an easy process, but the payout is amazing because here's what happens. Think about it when you make a budget. If you make a budget, you're saying, here's how much cash I have, right? Here's how much income comes in. This is all I got. Right? We can't go over this unless you want to go into a lot of debt, and we don't want to do that, right? As a financial coach, I don't condone that. Do not go into debt. But what's going to happen is if you shift it to where your profit is coming out first, you're paying yourself first, you're taking your taxes out first, whatever's left is for your expenses. So the same way as a budget saying, here's how much money I have to spend, you're doing that now. Instead of having your expenses taking all of your money, you're saying, I only have this much money for my expenses. So what this does is it gets you very intentional about your spending. It really helps you really think through those expenses that you have as a business owner to say, do I really need this? Do I need this next biggest, greatest, awesome thing? Do I really need to buy this product or try this or try that or try this or try that? And as entrepreneurs, we are sold to a lot, right? I don't know about you guys, but every time I get on LinkedIn, I usually have at least one or two messages from somebody trying to sell me something. Help me, I'm going to get you all the lead generation you need, right? All you got to do is sign here and pay for this. We are constantly being sold to in America in general, but especially as entrepreneurs, right? As business owners. So by shifting our thinking and saying we only have this bubble of money, right? This little bucket right here is all we actually have. Then we start really thinking through those expenses before we just start swiping the card and saying, oh yeah, let's try this out or try that out. And believe me, I've made those mistakes. I know what that's like to be like, oh crap, that was a waste of my money. I shouldn't have done that. But by saying, hey, I only have this much money, I need to be extremely particular on how I spend it. So just think through that with your spending. If you make that shift and that adjustment by saying, all right, I'm going to take a percentage of my profits right off the top. I'm going to pay myself a percentage right off the top. And we don't go backwards. We're constantly moving forwards with this. That means if I say, hey, eventually I want to get to paying myself 50% of my revenue, awesome. I may not be able to start there, but I could start at 20%. So for right now, all the revenue that comes in, 20% is going right to my paycheck as an entrepreneur, as the owner in the business. I am paying myself some money. I'm taking out the taxes that I owe the government. Recommended amount there is 15%. So all of your revenue that comes in, 15% should be set aside for your taxes, right? And you can work with your accountant on that, but usually that is a really good amount to set aside because that is off your total revenue, not just any income and those things. Then you say, okay, I'm going to pay myself and I'm going to take a profit. Maybe I only want to take a 5% profit. Only 5% of the revenue coming in goes into a profit account. That's fine. Start there. Baby steps, right? Know where you want to get to, but you start somewhere else, right? Say, I may not be able to jump into 50% there. I may not be able to jump into 20% profit, but I would like to be there eventually. So you step yourself into it. So here's how you start working this model. Number one, you need to figure out what do those numbers look like for you and your business. Do you want to pay yourself 50%? Or are you okay with only 25% of revenue? Are you okay with 5% profit? Or do you only want to do 3% profit? Where do you want to be? Doesn't mean it's where you're starting. Figure out where you want to go with your finances, where you want to go with money in your business. That's step one. Step two is saying what's realistic about where I can start. I may want to get to 50%, but right now maybe I can only do 10. But here's the thing, you have to start somewhere. Start small. At least if you're not paying yourself anything at all right now, then start with 1%. I'm going to take 1% of my money from the revenue and pay myself with that. And then you slowly start inclining it up and up and up, and your expenses go down and down and down, right? You got to start working through those expenses to free up more money, because you don't want to be in a business model where 80% of your money is going to expenses. That's not a good business model. It's not sustainable, and it's never going to allow you to grow the way you want to grow. You want that money to be going back to you, to the profit, to taxes, to those areas, and your expenses being like 30%. Okay, so it's a process that you go through, and I'm happy to answer questions that you have about that and to kind of help you implement that. But that is a number one way to really start growing your business. The people who have implemented this, and I can tell you, I'm part of several other women entrepreneurs groups. There are a lot of people across the board, all different industries, does not matter, all different revenue sizes, doesn't matter, that have implemented this system, and it has been a game changer. Not one person have I ever talked to that's implemented this successfully, mind you, successfully, have they regretted it. If anything, they're like, this has been a complete shift in my business. I was making negative money. I wasn't even making any kind of profit. My expenses were outweighing my revenue. And by implementing this process over time, I'm now having a profit, and I actually have money left over. And I have money to actually grow the business and to pay myself because I work too hard to not get paid. Would you ever go into a job for another person and do it for free? I hope you say no to that. I hope you would never ever do that, right? You would not go work for an employer for no money. Say, hey, yeah, volunteer 40, 60 hours a week of your time, but you're not getting paid for it. You wouldn't do that, so why do we do it in business? Why do we do that in a business? Why do we do that to ourselves? We need to pay ourselves. That is a priority because we have to sustain our own life. You know, we have to take care of our own families, our own things. Pay yourself first. Shift up your accounting procedures. Start taking your pay and your profit and taxes off the top. And then whatever's left goes to expenses. And if your expenses don't fit within that, then start looking at them. Start evaluating what gets paid, what doesn't get paid. If I had that happen this month where I haven't had as much revenue come in as I was planning on, and there are some expenses I genuinely cannot pay this month unless I start getting more revenue. And guess what? I'm okay with that because guess what? At the end of the day, I'm still getting paid. I still am taking a paycheck home to my family for our bills and things that we have to take care of. And I'm just going to have to wait on other bills until the money comes in. And that's okay. It also might mean I need to take a look at my expenses and say, you know what? Maybe I should start cutting some more things. I've already cut back on a few, but maybe I need to cut back on some more. So really implementing the system is going to give you the freedom in your business to actually take you to that next level.